they would figure out a way to get qualified to use whatever dollar amount was left on their entitlement. Hey guys, I'm Chris, your real estate problem solver. This is going out to all you military members at Robins Air Force Base. Are you interested in buying a house but afraid that the VA loan process is worse than the morning PT? Well, stay tuned in this video because we're going to go through all the questions and answers of applying for a VA loan. I'm bringing in Joe Cutaia from Prime Lending out of New York, and he's going to explain to you all the ins and outs of doing a VA loan, what you can do, what you can't do, and we're even going to get into a little bit of the investing side of it. So if you decide you want to exploit a little bit of the benefits and make yourself a nice nest egg once you retire from military service, you can do that too. So let's get into it. And keep in mind, if you're in the Middle Georgia area already and you need some help with your real estate, make sure to contact me. My description, my description. My information is in the description below. So let's get into it and give you that information so you can apply for your VA loan. All right, guys, so we're here with Joe Cutaia with Prime Lending. And Joe, we're going to be talking about VA loans. What makes you qualified to talk about VA loans?
So I've been doing VA loans for going on 25 years now. Actually, it's started doing loans December of 1999. Years ago, there was a guy in my office that, when I was learning how to do mortgages, said, don't do VA loans. They're too much work, too much paperwork. And I read about VA loans, and just to spite them, I said, well, now I'm going to specialize in them because you're helping out veterans who have helped us. They stick up for us, sacrifice their lives, for what they've had to gone through. The least we can do is give them the home loan that they've earned with no down payment, a low interest rate, no PMI. So I've actually, at Prime Lending, I'm, VA certified. There's different things you can do. I'm in Rochester, New York. I do loans all over the country, but even the local veterans organizations, I'm in Monroe County in Rochester, New York, and the Monroe County veterans, they send me loans. I've done a lot for the employees down there. If veterans come in and need a home loan, a lot of times they do get sent to me directly. So I've done a lot of them because I want to help those who have sacrificed for us. So
excellent, 100%. So explain a little bit, since we're actually talking about the Robins Air Force Base and the people that are coming in and out of here. Just a quick side question: is a VA loan specific to per state regulations, or is it all federal?
It's federal regulations. So some of the things that can vary per state or even per county is like if a pest inspection is required. In some counties are required, some counties are not required. And we have tools where we can look that up, so it's pretty easy stuff
but the
to do. But to qualifying as a whole, it's a federal loan.
Okay.
For federal rules.
So what exactly is a VA? I mean, who qualifies for that kind of stuff?
So on a VA, the home loans are provided by private lenders such as banks, mortgage companies. The VA guarantees a portion of the loan. It enables the lender to provide more favorable terms. Veteran service members, eligible surviving spouses. These are, people in the National Guard. And you'll get a certificate of eligibility from the VA, which tells you if you're eligible or not. We can help pull that as well. So if somebody's not sure if they are qualified or not, we could do a mortgage application. We can help them pull a certificate of eligibility and, just to make sure to find out. I'll ask a bunch of qualifying questions, just kind of help them determine. A lot of times if you're separated from service with an honorable discharge, you would be eligible in most cases. So,
okay. So when they say that they're qualified, does that mean that they're going to be covered on a kind of a certain dollar amount, or how's that work?
So everyone has an eligibility on their certificate of eligibility, and you'll be qualified based on credit. And we can, at prime lending, we can actually go down to a 580, but we'll touch on that later on. Income versus your liabilities. You have to look at your debt to income ratio. And then we also have to look at the max loan limit per county, it's pretty high. I mean, it's up there. And I can, if anyone ever has questions on what the max loan limit is per county, I can easily get you the breakdown for that. But it's, a lot of cases, $700,000, $800,000, $1 million. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's up there. So you can, if you qualify for a VA loan, if you're eligible for a VA loan, yeah, don't think that, it's not the loan for me. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer. You just have to meet eligibility requirements. And I can help you determine eligibility as well with a conversation.
So is the VA actually giving the money? Are they actually loaning the money, or are they just being a backer of some kind?
They guarantee the home loan to the lender. So if the borrower defaults, they'll buy the loan from the lender, which lets the lender take a little more risk, offer better interest rates, no PMI or private mortgage insurance, because it is being insured by the federal government. So it allows the lenders like myself, like prime lending, to give better terms to the borrower, which they deserve.
Okay.
So
if the big brother is going to kind of co-sign for them.
Absolutely. It is like Big Brother almost, they're guaranteeing it for you. Say, this guy or this gal, he or she, they're okay. All right. So we'll back it. You originate it. You lend them the money. And if something happens, we'll take care of it. So
excellent. Excellent. Hell, that by itself is enough to get somebody to sign up to go active duty.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I myself did not serve, but it's my way of giving back, is trying to help those who did, by helping them with the loans that they deserve.
Excellent. So with that being said, you didn't touch on down payment. So, FHA is like a 3.5% down payment. Is VA similar to that?
So VA in most cases is no down payment. A lot of times it's 100% loan to value. And if there's VA funding fees, unless you have certain levels of VA connected disability, then those funding fees would be waived. But the funding fees are rolled into the loan amount. So if you bought a house, say for $200,000, and the funding fee is 2.2%, instead of coming out of pocket, it would just get tacked onto the loan amount. There's no down payment, but there are closing costs, such as an appraisal fee, recording fees, attorney fees, things like that. They're not crazy. I mean, VA loan has lower closing costs. And then your prepaid items, your property taxes, your homeowner's insurance, prepaid interest from the day you close to the first of the next month. So there are costs associated with it. But the seller can also help out and pay a seller's concession, which works out really well if you have a home that's been sitting on the market a little while and you have a VA eligible borrower who's a little short on cash. We can ask the seller, if it's written the correct way, you can pay up to 6% if you write it the right way towards down payment or towards closing costs and prepaid items of the purchase price. It says 4% towards closing costs, but if you write it the right way, 6% can go to closing costs and or prepaid items. So on a $200,000 house, if we ask the seller, if they've had it listed for a while and before they drop the price to say 190, we can come in and say, hey, would you pay $10,000 towards the borrower's closing costs and prepaid items? We'll give you the $200,000. Would you contribute $10,000 to kind of get them over the hump so they can, come up with the rest of the money to purchase the home? They're a veteran. Can you help them out a little bit? You were going to drop the price anyways. Why don't you do it this way to help get them into the home? So that's another way. If they don't have all the money saved up, maybe some money or none, we can do that using a seller's concession.
So they can,
so that helps out. You can do it with no money out of pocket.
Down payment.
Or a lot of times it's a little bit out of pocket, but I've done it with no money out of pocket. So.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. We just had the seller's concession on a deal that we just did just south of Warner Robins, and they ended up offering pretty much 6% of the purchase price to help out with closing costs and agent concessions.
It's a great tool because Actually, I'm a licensed real estate broker here in New York. I don't do residential, just commercial, but I do have access to the MLS. And if I have realtors that send me borrowers for financing, and I have borrowers that really do need a seller's concession, I'll even pop on and show them how to find properties. Like if it's listed on the market for more than 10 days or 14 days, they might be willing to do a price drop. So if there's no action on it, depending on what market you live in. So in Warner Robins, if something was listed for 14 days and nobody submitted an offer, is that about the time where they might drop the price, or is it a little longer than that? Or
No,
is it
some
around like
people are usually a little bit more stubborn. We'll usually wait until about 25 or 30 days.
All right, so even say it was 30 days on market. Like if you put in a search in the MLS saying these properties have been sitting for 30 days or more, they may be a good candidate to help pay a seller's concession. And we also offer VA renovation loans too. Let's say you found the property that's in the location you want. It has good bones, but it needs some sprucing up. We can help with a VA renovation loan as well, to where the contractor would come through. Let's say you offered $150,000 on a house, okay? But it needs $50,000 or say $30,000 worth of work, okay? But it's going to be worth $180,000 or even more when you're done with it. We would have a licensed contractor come through, submit a bid. We would get additional paperwork from the contractor, and I help with that. We submit a copy of the purchase offer along with the bid of the work to be done to the appraiser. The appraiser will appraise the home on the purchase price and then also on the after repair value with the noted items. And then if the appraiser says, well, I also want to see this done or that done, we can add it too. And as long as it appraises with the purchase price plus the work to be done, we can finance the repairs into one loan. We close on the loan. And then after the loan closes, they start doing the work on the home. They'll set a draw schedule. The appraiser will come back out and say, okay, draw one. Maybe they did windows and a roof was the first draw. They inspected to make sure it was done. We release the money to the contractor. Then they move on to the next draw, and so forth. So it's another tool for veterans that might have found a property they really love, but they just don't have the money or the resources to improve the property. So we can keep that in mind as well. It's a really, really great program. So
will they still be able to close on the house and move into the house before the repairs are completed?
Depending on the repairs, to move into it. So
right, as long as
I mean, my wife, I don't know if she wouldn't move in. You were talking about every home I've ever purchased, I've had to renovate myself. But if it's habitable, yes, then they can move in, and then the repairs are getting done. So
okay, good, excellent. Yeah. Cool. So if they can do repairs on a house that they're moving into, would it be possible for a VA to qualify for like investment properties or a second home?
No, not investment properties or a second home, but you can qualify for subsequent use. And what that means is, because you don't have to be a first-time home buyer for a VA home. So let's say that you had a borrower that purchased a home using a VA home loan, okay? And they live in Rochester, New York, over near me, but then they get transferred down your way, okay, down in Georgia. And
so they're in Mount Robbins.
They're in Mount Robbins. They have the home that they still have in New York, and maybe they lease it out, okay? And then they use what the remaining eligibility that they have to purchase another home down in Georgia or wherever it may be, Arizona, anywhere in the United States, as long as they have the eligibility. And we can help. There's eligibility calculators, so I can help them figure out, what they would qualify for, etc. But you can use it again. You just pay a subsequent use fee of 3.3%. So if it was, let's say it was $100,000 purchase price, to make the math easy, they would be charged for the VA funding fee, say 3.3%, which would just get tacked on top of the loan. So it's like a government tax almost. Do you know what I mean? Like a usage tax. But
privilege for using tax.
That's it. So they stick the points into the loan. They roll them in. So you're not coming up with it out of pocket, because that can get a little costly. So.
Right.
But it's a great option. Had officers that relocate. I've had other service members that relocate, and that's the loan for them. They still have the entitlement, so why not? I mean, I would. You have low to no down payment. You have no PMI and a lower interest rate, and then a lot of times reduced fees as well. So,
yeah, I've actually had a few lieutenants and captains that left out of here and leaving their second house, going to their third house. So by the time they retire and get their 20 years in, they've got like 3 houses, and the first one's almost half paid off. So,
yeah, absolutely, yeah. I've done that. I've had JAG officers. I've had all different types of borrowers do that, and you build wealth with real estate, as you know. So it's a great tool, and again, it's you just have to do it the right way. You can't say you're going to intend to occupy a property that you don't. That's a big no.
Right.
But if you're gonna occupy it, you're gonna live in it, and you have the entitlement, why wouldn't you do it? So.
Oh, I would in a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
So with the entitlements that you were talking about, is that a limit of number of houses, or is it a dollar amount? How does that work?
So an entitlement on the certificate of eligibility says how much it's entitlement of loan guarantee. You might see that they have 36,000 or 44,000 of entitlement. That's of guarantee for the VA. So the first time you purchase a home, you have full entitlement. Okay. So you could, as long as you qualify, you could pretty much buy up to the county limit in most cases. Okay. When you start purchasing other VA home loans and you still have them outstanding, let's say if I had a VA home loan and I sold the home and paid off the VA home loan, I would get my entitlement restored. Okay. Now I'd still have to pay the subsequent use unless I had a level of disability that wiped it out and I was exempt from the VA funding fee. But if I wasn't, I would still do the 3.3%, but then I'd still have my full entitlement. Now, if I still kept that VA home loan and I purchased another home, I would have to make sure I had enough entitlement. There's entitlement calculators, and I have to plug in numbers using the calculators. I mean, off the top of my head, it's kind of hard to calculate, but a lot of times too, I've seen where you're still coming up with either no or very low down payment to purchase it, even without the full entitlement. So again, if that's a problem or a situation somebody runs into, I can help determine how much they would qualify for. So before they write an offer, which is the thing to do. You want to make sure that all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed, before you write a purchase offer. So a lot of times too, what I'll do is I'll gather all the documentation and application, and I'll submit the loan to underwriting or the decision makers before I have them write a purchase offer. So now they're shopping with a loan commitment. All right. So we already know what conditions are going to need to be met. A lot of times I gather those right away. Now we just need an appraisal, maybe title work, so we can close super quick within a matter of a couple weeks, a few weeks that point. And it just helps strengthen everything. And if we're kind of unsure on a file, it's always a good thing to do. But even if we're completely sure that, these guys are solid, I still like to do that because it just shows strength for the borrower. Then a lot of times I'll call the listing agent and let them know they've already been underwritten. They're shopping with a commitment letter, not just a pre-qualification letter or anything like that. They're solid. Yeah. So I like to take that next step.
How long would a VA tacked onto a loan application, would that drag it out any longer than a normal loan?
No, I mean, there's you're going to hear rumors. It's stigmatized that a VA loan can take a long time. It doesn't. We underwrite them ourselves. We underwrite them to the VA guidelines. The appraisal can take a little bit longer, not much. I mean, if anything, a week longer at the very most. But I haven't been running into issues. So
yeah, I know the appraisals around here are a little bit more strict. They're a little more picky about what they find on a house when you're buying.
They can be. I mean, there are certain protections with a VA loan. VA and FHA, pretty much any Ginnie Mae or government-backed loan, VA, FHA, they might be a little more stringent on flaking paint, broken glass. Not that they're not in conventional loans, because they are. But again, I don't think it's overkill. And I haven't run into an instance where they're severely undervaluing property just because it's a VA, or I mean, it's for the most part, I mean, 90% of the time, 95% of the time, we're not having any problems. So,
Okay. So when they are applying for these loans, what kind of terms do they have to qualify for? I mean, they have to have a perfect credit score, or do they
nope.
have to be making $1 million a month?
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah,
You make $1 million a month, you don't need me. As far as debt to income ratio, it's actually pretty forgiving on a VA loan. I've done a back end debt to income ratio in the higher 50s, which on a conventional loan, you're pretty much capped at between 45 and 50% of your income versus your debts with the home, the principal and interest, the taxes, the insurance, plus all your other debts that you currently have, your monthly payments,
So
such as credit cards, car loans.
Of your total income is going out in
correct.
Debt.
What's coming in, what's coming out, or what's going out. So, your current monthly liabilities plus a liability of the new property that you're purchasing, we can go up a little bit more, so it's a little easier to qualify versus for a VA versus a conventional. And again, if you get, let's say you have, I want to go to VA connected disability as income. Okay, I have some fantastic clients. I just closed one here a couple months ago, and he was denied by another lender, and they just weren't asking the right questions. Okay. And he had a VA connected disability at 100%, and they said he didn't have enough income. I can gross that up by 25% a lot of times because they're not paying taxes on that money. A lot of times it's tax free. So I grossed it up by 25%, and he qualified just fine. Was able to get him in and out of that house. He closed within a few weeks. So he went from a no to a super quick close. I've actually done quite a few of those where people just aren't qualifying them correctly. So you don't have to be employed. As long as you have stable income, you can be on DSS. You can have, veteran connected disability, and it'll show. We'll get a copy of the letter from the VA that shows how much they're entitled to, what's their percentage of disability, and then it continues for life. So, I mean, that's a great source of income. And again, we can gross that up. So if you are a disabled veteran collecting VA disability income, don't think you can't qualify. I'd love to talk to you. Anyone that discourages you from applying, call me. I'd like to talk to you and help you out.
Guys, how important it is to ask the right questions. Make the difference between a yes and a no.
I don't think that I take my kids never take a no. It's always something. So I've learned not to take a no, and you shouldn't take a no. If it's a no, I'll tell you what would need to be improved in order to turn into a yes. It's not just a no. We can't approve everybody with every file. But if not, I would tell you what you need to do to be approved. Maybe something we can work on. If you needed help with your credit, we have programs here where I can run it through and say, okay, in order to get to this certain score, you have to pay down, and it's very specific. You have to pay down that Amex card by $532, like to the penny. It'll tell you what to do to get to a certain score. We have tools like that here at Prime Lending where I can help you with that. So if you don't have perfect credit, okay, and you need some advice, how do I get high enough to get approved for a home loan? We can approve a VA home loan as low as 580. Now between 580 and 619, there's a bunch of overlays or extra rules, other milestones you do have to hit in order to get funded. It might be that you have to have some reserves, some extra money in the bank, but you might be able to use your 401k or 403b as reserves.
That right that we just finished with, I think it was either you or Gary, gave me a chore list of one credit card to pay off and one.
That's it.
One credit card to pay off and one. What else was it? Something else to get my credit score up over the amount that we needed. Yeah,
and it worked. Went right up quick. We were able to rescore, and I can do a rapid rescore. A lot of lenders too. You'll apply for credit or apply for a loan. They'll run your credit and say, "Oh, hey, you're a 579. You missed it by a point. We can't do it. Come back and talk to us in 120 days when your credit expires and you can try." What I'll do is say, "Listen, you're a 579. We need to get you up a little." And I'll always shoot to try for at least 620, okay? Because then we escape all the other overlays. And I'll say, okay, I remember one time not too long ago, I boosted somebody's credit by 78 points. They had a very low limit on a credit card. It was like $500. Okay. And they owed $500. I had them pay it down to a certain number and it boosted their score way up. So, I mean, for like $400 that they paid down, and they had some money saved for a home, paid that down and it shot the credit rate up. I was able to get a copy of the statement showing they paid it. So the credit card company regenerated a new statement. I submitted it to the credit reporting agencies, and within 5 business days, I had them completely rescored, approved, and out there shopping. So, again, if you feel that I was told that my credit's almost there, I'd like to talk to you. I'd like to get you there, so.
And guys, he's not lying, because I had the same thing on mine. I've actually got a video pertaining to the deal that we were just talking about on my channel. So take a look for that video on the Real Estate Problem Solver channel. So, Joe, is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you would volunteer that somebody would need to know about applying for a VA loan?
Yeah, apply. Don't be discouraged, okay? Rip off the Band-Aid. Just do it, okay? Even if you think you may not qualify, even if you know you'll qualify, go ahead and apply. Now, we do have other loan programs available as well. I would always give you options and say, okay, here's a VA. Here's some other loan programs. If it were something kind of close to where that wasn't your best option, I did just have one of those. Actually, the VA loan cost them a little more because they were putting so much money down. That the VA funding fee was going to end up costing more money, and it just wasn't. After I showed him, he chose to go a different route. 99% of the time, you're going to go VA. All right. Yeah. I'd like to help you. Think about this too. So, and I say, if I could talk to my younger self, I'm going to be 48 years old in less than 2 months. I started doing this when I was 22 years old. If I can go back to my younger self, I would buy the biggest unit I could buy. I'd buy a 4-unit if there was one available. I would live or own or occupy one of the units, and I would rent the other 3 for income. Which also, let's say that your income isn't fantastic at the moment. Okay, maybe you just got out of college. Maybe you didn't go to college. Maybe you're in the union, and you know that in so many years you're going to get a pay increase. But you want to buy a home now. Look at buying a multifamily. Buy a 2, 3, or 4 unit. Live in one unit. And we can take the rents from the other units at 75% of that and count it as income to help you qualify for more of a home too.
Yep.
So if you're looking at $150,000 homes, you don't qualify. Maybe you're looking at a $200,000 4-family. You actually might qualify if the rents are high enough to offset. I mean, so again, that's a scenario we can look at as well. And again, if you can buy a 4-unit, a 2 to 4 unit, with no down payment, just for closing costs and prepaid items, okay? It doesn't mean you have to live there forever. Maybe you live there for a couple of years, and then you want to eventually buy a single family. You can keep that, rent your unit that you're leaving, and now you have a fully functioning investment property, and you didn't come up with a down payment for it. As long as it cash flows and it's a good investment.
And it's cash flow.
Again, if I could talk to my younger self, I'd buy as many multifamily homes with the least amount of money out of pocket as I could. So, I would have bought my first one, would have been a 4-family instead of a single when I was in my 20s. So,
Yep.
But yeah, anyone that may qualify for a VA loan, I would love to talk to you. Chris is fantastic. He'll help you. He'll protect you. He'll make sure he finds you the right property. I'll protect you on the loan side. So you have protection in New York and you have protection in Georgia. So, but yeah, we're here to help you. You've protected us. You've stood up for us. Now we're here to do the same for you. Now it's your turn to let us help you. So.
Well, guys, I hope that helped give you some ideas on whether or not and how to fill out a application for a VA loan. Of course, like I said, if you've got any questions about it, about the Middle Georgia area, give me a call. And Joe's on standby. I'm going to put his information in the description below so you can contact him directly. So I hope this information helps you guys. And if y'all need any other questions and answers, make sure to reach out to us.
You can apply online at www.joethemortgageguy.com. Pretty
There
easy.
you go.
There you go.
All
Thanks,
right,
Chris.
guys.
I
Well, thank you
appreciate
for
it.
your service, and we'll talk to you on the next video.
Thank you.